What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all having yourselves a great Tuesday afternoon. It's almost about 6 o'clock, and we're going to talk a little bit about the birds today. There have obviously not been too many things going down for the Eagles in this free agency. We talked about, the restructures that were going to happen. Don't look out for too many signings, but there could be a couple signings. So that's what we're going to talk about today. A possible guy that could be signed by the Eagles that was released today. So thanks for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. If you guys have any kind of questions, comments, please feel free to throw them my way. But I thought today we could talk a little bit about Steven Nelson, the cornerback that was just released by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Should the Eagles be interested in him? This guy, obviously he played well at the Chiefs, earned himself a contract with the Steelers, started every game with the Steelers. So a guy I would definitely be interested in. We talk about adding a veteran to this group. I obviously think that, we should add a guy in the draft, maybe one, maybe two corners in this draft. But I would also add a veteran guy in this room. And you talk about Jonathan Gannon being a defensive backs coach. So he's coming in here. You heard from Anthony Harris today. He's really excited because of the passion, the excitement he has for Anthony Harris. Also, Rodney McLeod, his old teammate, something we've talked about the last couple of days. So I'm just really excited. And I obviously feel that we just need to add a few pieces to this room. So I'm sure they feel that same way. But Steven Nelson, why not? Did a pretty damn good job with Kansas City. And then, of course, with Pittsburgh the last couple of years. So as you can see here, I split up his stats. 6 years in the league. He has played in 82 games, started 68 of those games. You can see here he has 291 tackles total, 10 tackles for a loss, then 52 pass breakups, 7 interceptions, and 1 forced fumble. Look, the guy is maybe not, someone that jumps off the page at you. One of the names that, obviously everybody was talking about was Adoree Jackson. I don't think, that was something I was going to lose sleep over, but to see the money that he got, I'm good on that, man. I'll be real with you. So the Eagles definitely didn't miss out on that one if that's the kind of money he wanted, so didn't waste our time visiting. Steven Nelson here, though, I think that's definitely an option for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, if you're talking about any other veteran cornerback out there, there are a few options. And, people are saying like, oh, well, the well's running dry. You're missing your chance, all these guys. And look, we weren't going to have a chance on someone like William Jackson. So you got to look at the lower tier guys. And apparently Adoree Jackson was a higher tier guy, but I was not someone that got the memo on that. Now, there are a few guys I think that are, pretty good veterans that would come in here and definitely be able to help these younger guys and the ones that will be added to this room. Obviously, you have Darius Slay, but add another guy, groom a couple guys, and, we could be in business. You see pictured here, Malcolm Butler, Garyon Conley, A.J. Bouye, Steven Nelson, obviously, and then Casey Hayward. I'm not so sure he's in our ballpark, but then again, we talk about these 1-year contracts with some of these guys that, hey, maybe they sign here and then maybe next year they get themselves a bigger deal. They asked Anthony Harris what the deal was with him signing a 1-year deal rather than going after a long-term deal. Well, the reasoning being we talked about. There is much more money to be had next year when the cap goes up. So some of these guys going to be betting on themselves. Looks like that's what Anthony Harris is doing. So maybe we get one of these corners to do the same. Now, beyond those names I just showed, well, faces I showed you, let's take a gander at some of these names. There are definitely a good amount of corners out there that I feel could fill the role that we're talking about here. Not somebody that's going to come in. We have our cornerback one, but you need somebody that can provide you some help on the outside. I think Bouye, obviously he struggled the last couple of years, but the teams he's been on. I'd be all for that. Richard Sherman, obviously still a pretty good corner, but his days are a little numbered. I'm not sure that's exactly what I'm looking for, but wouldn't be against it if the money was right. But Gary and Conley, still a young guy, first round pick for the Raiders years ago. I think that's somebody, I'd definitely be interested in if I were the Eagles. Brian Poole, more of a nickel corner. I don't think that that's someone obviously on, I would say, the fans' radar, but, teams know that Brian Poole is a pretty damn good corner. Same goes for Mackenzie Alexander. He's a good returner, too. So there's definitely options. Rasul Douglas is out there. Guys like Buster Screen, Ken Crawley, even EJ Gaines from the Bills. Josh Norman, he's still in the league, I guess. I'd be okay passing on that one. But beyond that, there's definitely some guys, Jonathan Joseph, even Artie Burns, see if he could get his career turned around after it didn't pan out in Pittsburgh or Chicago. And even LaShawn Sims, the guy that was from Cincinnati. Daryl Worley, no thanks. We all know how that worked out a couple years ago when he tried to be an Eagle. Ended up getting drunk, falling asleep in his car, and then he was a Panther. So that's fantastic. Anyways, you can see here that there are definitely some options. So the Eagles should, I would say, make a move. Maybe in this second wave of free agency coming up. You see the first wave happening really kind of already done, I would say. But we obviously went through some of the guys that, other teams picked up. But I wouldn't be against us adding some more pieces because, as you saw, the other teams, all the additions they made, we didn't have too many. As you can see here, we've only added Killins and Ridgeway back to the team. And then new guys, we've added Andrew Adams, special teams guy, and depth safety. And then starting safety, Anthony Harris, who obviously we've talked about and very excited about. But you replace Rudy Ford with Andrew Adams. I'm okay with that. And then you replace Jalen Mills with Anthony Harris. I love it. But we talk about the fact that, maybe we're not going to do so much in free agency because of the fact that, we need to get younger. We have this cap situation, which we have pretty much figured out so far. But we are going to address things in this draft. You see that we have 11 picks here. And you got to be able to hit on, dude, having 4 picks in the top 84. That's a lot of talent, man. I'm very excited about this draft because there's so much talent. But clearly I have to try to calm myself because I know Howie Roseman is the one in charge. But look, that's where we're going to address most of these things. But I think that, the secondary is one where you need a lot of help. So adding a guy like Steven Nelson, I think the answer has to be yes. I think they should definitely be interested in him, have him come in for a visit, find out what he's working with. And you saw the numbers here, pop them up one more time. I think, he's pretty solid corner. And I think that's somebody that he would come in, pair him next to Slay. And then if you bring somebody else in, like I said, they can take his job eventually, whatever it is. But he's a guy that's definitely serviceable. So no doubt. We got a little comment here from a Facebook user. I'd say get Booyah. He'd be cheap, and I feel compliments like, yeah. And I was just mentioning him. That was one of the faces popped up on here in the middle, actually. That's someone I'm very interested in. And I think that, because of his struggles with, the Jags and the Broncos, that he could be had at a very cheap price. So I would definitely go after someone like AJ Bouye. I would go after a lot of those guys, Gary and Conley. I wish we could have Casey Hayward. Oh, my God. Could you imagine him with Darius Slay? But I don't know if we have the money for someone like Casey Hayward to pair with Darius Slay. So maybe a Malcolm Butler getting older, and not one of the best guys, but I don't know. We'll see what the Eagles are interested in. We'll see what Jonathan Gannon likes. Maybe a guy from the South, AFC South, that he likes. Maybe someone from the Vikings. I don't know. We already brought someone from the Vikings and Anthony Harris, so we'll see. We truly don't know, but I'm hopeful that the Eagles will at least make some moves. But you saw it. Pop it up one more time. There is a slew of corners available. So Eagles, don't be hesitant here. Get somebody on a cheap contract, maybe a veteran or one of these younger guys that will be able to bet on themselves next year. So they'll take a cheap deal this year. Hey, you never know. Still hopeful, but like I said, don't get your hopes up in free agency here when you don't have money and you're worried about restructuring people. So I'm not saying like, oh my God, we're gonna be able to get this guy and that guy, but obviously it's a topic at hand. So I wanted to jump on it, talk about it, and talk a little bit about Steven Nelson. And I think that he's a guy that would complement Slay very well, and that goes for most of those guys I talked about on that picture. I think you have those guys. You draft someone in the second round. I think this team is a lot closer to being good than it is bad, So hopeful for this young team. And, one of the questions that was asked, believe it was Mike K, today to Anthony Harris. He's like, we didn't even get to meet Jonathan Gannon today. He's like, so what is he like? And, he just talked about it. Energetic, someone that's going to really hold people accountable. And I'm just ready for our defense to really get after people, be an exciting defense, and they know what Philadelphia is all about. He was talking about how he was excited walking around the street and he saw an old lady wearing a shirt that said, I bleed green till I die. Win, lose, or tie, I bleed green until I die. Beautiful. And he knows what it's all about. He said he couldn't wait to come play for that. He remembered, obviously being a Viking when we whooped that ass. And, he was just saying he saw how pumped up we got. He wanted to be a part of that. He wanted to be a part of something special. So everybody talks about this being a dumpster fire. I don't believe it's totally like that. I think, you saw a lot of those guys that restructured, and I don't think they would restructure if this team was a complete dumpster fire. So to me, you're retooling. You're not completely rebuilding, but it's a partial rebuild for sure. But I would look at it, you're retooling things because you're getting a lot of these great players back. And I think that, it's going to really work out because they gave you more money. You're going to be able to do things. You needed $7 to $9 million for your draft picks. And then you want to be able to make moves. Obviously, we just got Anthony Harris. We talked about that. We will be able to make moves. So calm your britches, though. Not too much. But, hey, if Fletcher Cox would maybe restructure, could have even more money. Make me a very happy person because you can convince these people, hey, you have a good year. We're going to have so much money next year. The cap's going up next year. Find yourself a bigger deal. Anthony Harris, probably hopeful of that. I would love to see Harris and Slay, finish out their careers here. Two really good guys in the secondary. I'm excited to see work together. So it's going to, Anthony Harris had a down year last year, but I really think that, he's going to come out and be a baller. This dude is a baller. He's a ball hawk. He can cover. He can hit. And like I said, last year he had an off year, but he was lining up all over the place. He had to do so much for the Vikings. He was taking on that Malcolm Jenkins role we had when we were falling apart. So, the guy was doing all he could. They had a slew of different new corners. So he is coming into a situation he kind of knows, but we have a number one corner here, and we're going to get more, hopefully sign a veteran like we talked about. So, yeah, that's the video for the day, ladies and gentlemen. The answer is yes, the Eagles should be interested in Steven Nelson. And the answer is also yes to should the Eagles sign a veteran quarterback. Any of those guys, and a few of those ones we mentioned on the list. So I'm all in on improving this team. I don't think it's just going to be some trash team that, is in tank mode, which everyone says, which doesn't exist in football, but whatever. I think this team's going to whoop some ass, and they're going to surprise some people. And before I judge and say that they're complete garbage, which I don't think they are, I'm excited for Jalen Hurts. I want to see what they do in the draft, though. Then we'll decide what this team looks like. I want to see what the 90-man roster is, and then try to decide what the 53 will look like. And then we'll see if we think this team's going to be good or bad. But I'm excited. We got some young guys that I'm hoping that Gannon, Steichen, and, obviously Sirianni can build up. So hopefully they can do the right thing with these guys, coach them up. And we have obviously been horrible at developing some of these players. They go elsewhere and they're great, So it's like, is it the drafting or is it the coaching? I don't know. We obviously got rid of the coach and the quarterback, though. So there's a new era here, guys. And look, it's all about the bird for me. I'm behind him. Whoever is in green when it comes time to camp, let's go. We'll see what happens in camp, though. First, who's winning what job, because there's a lot of open jobs. But I'm so excited for this draft because it's like these young dudes are going to come in hungry. So on Sundays, we're going to tune into a team that's not just, yeah, we know what's coming. We're going to get our ass kicked. They're hungry. We don't know what you get from hungry dogs because, they run faster. So if they're running faster and hungrier, they're coming after people and they want to win. They want to win their jobs. They just want to win, period. Dude, then they're meant to be here. And I think they're going to go after guys like that this year. And I think that we're going to build a Philly team. We're going to build an Eagles team, and they're going to come out swinging, man. And maybe we don't win the division, and maybe we're not, great at first, but I think we build around Jalen Hurts. The dude's, he's built for greatness. I can see it in him, and I get it. People, his play, but you have no idea what he's going to grow into. So let's give him some time before we lose our minds. I've seen other quarterbacks come out of nowhere. I'm definitely all in on this kid. I think that they're going to try to build around him, hopefully with that first pick, get a Jamar Chase, get a Kyle Pitts, get a Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, don't care who it is, get somebody, a weapon to build around with him, and I will be happy. But beyond that, today's show was about the secondary, so help the secondary out, please, for the love of God. But, yeah, the draft is where it's at. 11 picks in this draft. 11 picks. 11. So Howie, please hit on some of these damn picks. Get us some good defensive players. Get us some weapons. Let's turn this damn ship around. All right, guys. Hope you're all having a great week so far. If you need anything, reach out to me, whether it's about football, anything in life. Always here for you guys. But I appreciate you. Those of you that reach out, I truly do appreciate it. Appreciate you guys that just tune in. Appreciate you those that like, retweet, subscribe, whatever you're doing, man. Truly appreciate the support. So have yourselves a good one. I will be back tomorrow, or if anything crazy happens, I'll hop back on. But if not, have a great night, guys. And as always, come on!